Hello and welcome to this part 2. After the big success of this video and the suggestions for shortcuts in the comments, I've decided to make a part 2. Sorry it took a bit to make it, but I was gone last week because I had my graduation. But once I got back I started working on the shortcuts. This video had a couple comments suggested shortcuts and some I found after just playing around a bit after the last video. Also, at the end I have a very long one, with results that actually might surprise you, so stick around for that. For our first shortcut we actually have one suggested by Dova. This is a shortcut I've used before. I forgot it in the last video, but I think a lot of people use it. Instead of taking this exit right here, you actually take this little gap to the right, brings you onto the hospital parking lot kind of thing, and then you can go up here towards the casino itself. And it is actually quite useful. It's quite easy jump to do. To be fair, I tried it the first time, I kind of flipped a bit, went into the wall. You have to reduce a little bit of speed there, to be fair. But yeah, the second time it went quite well. If you know how to do it, it's really easy. There's no traffic on the parking lot, so it's really easy. And if you take the normal route, you actually deal with traffic a little bit. I actually took a little bit of a shortcut in the normal route. So instead of going to the right in a second here, I actually go into oncoming traffic, which I normally do like quite consistently. This is a little bit risky because oncoming traffic sometimes swerves weird like that. So yeah, in the end you save about a second with this. But if you take the normal route, so not going into incoming traffic, you will actually gain, I think, more like 2, 3, 4 seconds. So it's a worthwhile thing. I think it's low risk. It's definitely lower risk than going into oncoming traffic. So definitely do this if you think about it. The next shortcut was suggested by Mr. Peanuts. It's actually a quite nice one. I really like this one a lot. So you jump here to the bush. That bush is really difficult. I tried this a lot. As you can see, my car is also a bit destroyed. The bush throws you off a lot. You get on the grass and then you slam into the roof. The roof also has a little obstacle, so it's really quite high risk. I didn't give it high risk. I gave it medium high because, well, if you fall, you can still drive out. You don't really get stuck. You probably lose your time save. But you don't fall in water, for example. Yeah, and the alternative route is either you go right here, that's why I kind of brake, but I decided, oh, let's go straight, because that's what the GPS shows. So I kind of subtracted like a second for that little braking. But yeah, you save about 10 seconds in the end, 10, 11 seconds, depending on. But yeah, it's quite a big time save. But yeah, the medium-high risk nature is like, maybe if you practice a lot, you can get it down to a science where you can maybe do it more often. But yeah, I would not per se recommend it, but it's definitely fun. Maybe with a bike. The next shortcut was suggested by Free, and it's quite a simple one, very low risk, very nice. So on the highway you go left here, and if you want to go into the freak shop, you just go here, slow down a little bit so you don't go to the right, so you land on the stuff. Just go here and you're there. It takes like 10, 11 seconds. I jumped out, but you know, usually you want to go in the freak shop. Alternatively, if you don't want to go into oncoming traffic, so this is the normal route GPS will probably show you, is you go up here, deal with this traffic. I don't like this intersection because there's a lot of cars coming from all directions being irrational, and then you have to turn here, go down here. I mean, you're essentially using the same route, but you're just taking way longer. And it saves you about 10 seconds in the end, which is quite substantial, especially for being such a low risk strat. So yeah, there's really no reason not to use it. Even if you hit oncoming traffic, you're still gonna save 5 seconds or whatever. And the chance you're hitting traffic on the normal road is way bigger anyways. So yeah, definitely use this. For our next shortcut, we have one very commonly used for the Diamond Casino heist. So when driving here, usually coming from your arcade, you drive here to get into that area or maybe that little entry. And you arrive here at like 10, 11, 12 seconds. Which is good. And then normally you would have to drive over the parking lot, so you have to go around here, slow down again, etc, etc, and then you arrive here about 2, maybe 3 seconds later. Also, when going into the tunnel, you save even more time. It's more like a 5-second time save, especially considering you're driving that armored truck while doing the heist. So then it's even more of a time save, and you should definitely do it. I also tested the usefulness if you want to go to the casino. So if you want to enter here, you arrive at like 15 seconds, and let's say you take the normal route, you kind of take this one, then carry way more speed here, and then also here you can cut it a little bit, and you arrive at 15 seconds as well. So essentially you don't really save any time with the second one. But the first one definitely, like 2 seconds, and with that armored truck, and if you want to go into the tunnel as well, you save so much more time because you don't, you go right here. So definitely do it. The next shortcut is this little dirt patch next to the road here at Maze Bank Arena. It seems like a shortcut because, well, it's literally shorter, right? It's straight instead of going around. But there's one mechanic in GTA which kinda, ruins this. It's dirt speed reduction, so if you go for dirt you lose a little bit of speed. Also I think because you have to take a sharper angle, you probably scrub off a little bit more speed as well. So from this side it actually loses you about a second. And on this side it is about the same time. I think if you take like a super good line with the normal route, you might actually save like half a second. Maybe even carry some more speed, so that goes up to a second if you go to the like long straight. But yeah, it's just not worth it. Maybe you have like a really slow vehicle, then it works, but like for most normal vehicles this won't save you any time. For our last shortcut we have one a lot of people have used, I think. It's using the train tracks here from Paleto Bay towards Sandy Shores or the city. I thought this would be some kind of time save, but it turns out, here I arrive in Sandy Shores at around 2:15-ish, and as you will see in a second, the normal route, so just going on the highway, actually saves you about 24 seconds, which is quite significant. Also, if you want to go to the city with like a normal car, you are already so far on the highway by the time that you can get off like on the earlier section that it doesn't even make sense to take it. It only makes sense if you do what I show here. If you take a car with a traction loss multiplier of 0, so which means you lose less speed on dirt. Well, basically, if you have 0, you lose no speed, but sometimes you also have lower. Then the difference becomes less, but the highway is still faster. If you want to get off earlier, so if you get off the train tracks earlier, then it makes sense to take that route. But most of the time it doesn't really make sense to take this route. Let's say, however, you started this sawmill, then it could make sense taking this tunnel. But in most cases, if you're in Paleto, just take the highway. It's easier, it's also lower risk because you don't run into the train, especially here on the bridge. So yeah, this one, definitely not worth it. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If this also gets good reception, I might think about a part 3, but I think there's not that many spots left. If you know one, be sure to comment, I will check them out. Otherwise, I might be thinking about making one for motorcycles, because those have a lot more options. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you in the next one.